The sky over Galaxon Corp's main building was dark, even during the day. Thick clouds floated above the planet's upper rings, hiding the sun. Workers rushed in and out of the company's steel towers, wearing badges, speaking fast, and carrying shiny tablets. Everyone looked busy. Everyone looked important. Then came Amira. She walked slowly through the front gate wearing plain gray clothes. No fancy badge, no high-tech tablet, just a small bag and worn-out boots. Her skin was deep brown, and her short curly hair was tied back. Her eyes, though calm, watched everything, every door, every robot, every person. Amira didn't say much when she entered. She quietly showed her ID card to security. The guard looked at her, then at the card, then gave a small laugh. "New janitor, huh? Good luck," he said. She just nodded and walked in. Inside the massive building, the halls were filled with polished glass, glowing lights, and floating screens. Amira's footsteps echoed as she walked to the service area. She didn't look nervous. She didn't look excited, just focused. In the cleaning room, she met her new team. 4 other janitors sat at a table, eating snacks and joking loudly. "That must be the new girl," one of them said, pointing. "She looks like she got lost," said another. Amira gave a small smile and took a seat quietly in the corner. She pulled out a small notebook from her bag and began writing. The others didn't notice. A few minutes later, a man in a dark blue uniform entered. He was tall, with gray hair and cold eyes. His name was Mr. Kern, the floor manager. Everyone stopped talking when he walked in. "This the new hire?" he asked, looking at Amira. She stood and gave a small nod. Mr. Kern walked around her slowly. Then he turned to the others and laughed. "She won't last a week," he said loudly. "Probably just needs a job for food credits." The janitors laughed with him. Amira stayed silent. He handed her a cleaning device and said, "Sector 7B, start now." Amira took the device and walked out without a word. Sector 7B was one of the lowest levels in Galaxon Corp. The lights flickered, and the air smelled like oil and metal. Old robots rolled by, leaking wires and steam. No one liked working here. But Amira didn't complain. She worked slowly, but carefully. She cleaned every wall, checked every corner, and looked at the tech hidden behind panels. As she worked, she took notes in her book. Small things, broken systems, hidden cameras, strange sounds. She noticed everything. And she wasn't just cleaning. She was watching. Later that day, she walked into the cafeteria. The workers from other departments sat in groups: engineers, pilots, techs. No one sat with the janitors. Amira got a small tray of food and sat alone near the wall. She could hear whispers. "Who's she? Another useless new hire. She looks too quiet. Weird." Amira ate slowly, eyes on her tray, but her ears were open. She heard everything. A young woman in a pilot uniform passed by and accidentally spilled juice near Amira's feet. "Oops," she said with a fake smile. "You'll clean it, right?" Amira looked at the mess, then nodded once. Everyone laughed, but she stayed calm. After lunch, she went to the supply room. As she searched for extra gloves, someone pushed the door closed and locked it from outside. She'd heard giggling and footsteps running away. The lights flickered. Most people would panic, but Amira just sat down and opened her notebook again. She wrote something on a new page. "Second day, locked in storage, target, unknown. Security system too old, need upgrade." She waited for 20 minutes before a kind maintenance worker opened the door and let her out. "You okay?" he asked. "I'm fine," she said. "Thank you." She walked out and went straight back to work. That night, while most employees went home, Amira stayed late. She walked through the halls with her cleaning gear, but her eyes were scanning the walls. At one point, she tapped 3 times on a panel, and it opened slightly. She reached in and placed a small round disc. Then she walked away like nothing happened. Nobody saw her. No one knew what she was really doing. Everyone thought she was just a quiet janitor. But in truth, she was the daughter of CEO Elena Galaxon, the woman who built this empire. Amira wasn't here for a paycheck. She was here to test the stuff. to see who was honest and who was rotten. The next morning, Amira returned early. Most janitors came in late or right on time, but she was already in Sector 7B, cleaning the dusty floors with quiet focus. While she worked, a group of engineers walked by, laughing. One of them, a tall man with shiny tools on his belt, stopped. "Hey, new girl," he shouted. "You missed a spot." He kicked over a trash bin, spilling paper and metal parts across the floor. Amira looked at the mess, then back at the man. She didn't speak. She just bent down and started cleaning. The engineers laughed as they walked away. Later that day, while she cleaned near the control bay, two janitors from her own team passed by, Kyle and Rina. They carried coffee and sandwiches, laughing loudly. Kyle looked at Amira and whispered to Rina, loud enough for her to hear. "She thinks this is school or something, writing in that notebook all the time." Rina giggled. "She's trying to look smart, but she's just slow." Amira didn't stop. She kept working, quiet as always. But her eyes narrowed. She had written both their names in her book the night before. Around noon, Mr. Kern showed up again. He stood with his hands on his hips, watching her clean the window panels. "That's all you've done in 2 hours?" he snapped. She turned calmly. "I cleaned Sector 7B and C, then moved here." "I don't want excuses," he barked. "Pick up the pace, or I'll cut your shift short. Understand?" "Yes, sir," Amira said. But when he walked away, she opened her notebook and scribbled. "Kern lies. I finished 3 sectors. Time-stamped records saved." She wasn't just taking notes. She was building a case. Later, during the lunch break, the janitor team sat at the far table laughing again. Amira quietly took her seat with a tray of protein cubes and blue water. Kyle leaned over and whispered, "Hey, new girl, I heard there's a special task for new hires." She looked up. "What kind of task?" He smirked. "You'll find out tonight. Wear something clean. And don't bring your little notebook." Rina laughed behind him. "Yeah, or you might lose it." Amira gave a small nod. "Okay." Then, when they turned away, she carefully placed a tiny tracker chip under the table where they sat. They didn't see it. That night, she returned to the supply room to put away her gear, but something was off. The room was dark. Too dark. As she stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind her. Someone locked it. She could hear them laughing outside again. A voice shouted, "Let's see how long she lasts now." The lights flickered. The vents made strange noises. A spider-like cleaning drone dropped from the ceiling, whirring fast and malfunctioning. Most people would scream, but Amira slowly stepped aside, opened her bag, and pulled out a small black remote. She pressed one button. The drone froze in place. Then from her shoe, she pulled out a glowing key and unlocked the door from the inside. The bullies were standing outside, waiting to laugh again. They froze when the door opened by itself, and Amira walked out calm as ever. They tried to play it cool. "Hey, it was just a joke," Kyle said quickly. "Yeah," Rina added, "just messing around." Amira nodded. "No problem." She walked past them, not saying another word. But the tiny tracker chip under the lunch table had recorded their voices. She now had proof. That night, in her small room, Amira connected the chip to her tablet. She saved the audio files. She matched the voices. She added everything to a file called Employee Conduct, Phase 1 Report. Then she opened a new tab and sent a coded message to Galaxon High Command. Observation continues. Target behavior worsening. Request inspection within 72 hours. She pressed send. The message vanished into the stars. Nobody knew the quiet janitor with the notebook had just activated a corporate investigation. Nobody knew she was the daughter of the most powerful woman in the system. And soon, nobody would be safe. The next day at Galaxon Corp began like usual. Flying shuttles landed, workers rushed in, and bright holo screens lit up the halls. But something had changed. Amira wasn't just cleaning anymore. She was watching more closely, writing more, recording more, and Mr. Kern was getting angry. Amira walked into a hallway near the main power core. It was supposed to be empty. But as she turned the corner, she saw Mr. Kern whispering with Kyle, the same janitor who locked her in the dark room. She quickly stepped behind a column. Mr. Kern was saying, "She's too quiet, too smart. I don't trust her. If she's trouble, she's gone." Kyle nodded. "Want me to scare her off?" "No," Kern said. "We'll make her mess up. Then I'll fire her for cause. Nobody will question it." Amira pulled out a small device from her pocket. It looked like a badge, but it was actually a recorder. She got every word. Then, quietly, she walked away. Later that day, Mr. Kern called her to his office. The room was keen and cold. He didn't offer her a seat. "You've been working slower than the others," he said. Amira stayed calm. "I finished 3 zones today." He stood up. "Don't talk back. I don't care what you think you did. From now on, you clean the outer tunnels alone." She blinked. "Outer tunnels? Those are under repair." "I don't care," he said sharply. "You want to stay here?" "Do what you're told." Amira nodded slowly. "Yes, sir." But inside, she was done pretending. That night, while the halls were quiet, Amira went to the tunnels. They were cold, damp, and full of broken cables. Sparks flew from open panels. She scanned the area. Her boots crunched on loose metal. Suddenly, a power line above her exploded. Boom! Amira jumped back as smoke filled the tunnel. Alarms flashed. A warning flashed on a nearby screen. "Live electric current. System faulty. Do not enter." Someone had turned the power on. Amira pulled out her device and scanned the system log. She found the name attached to the power spike. KNM. Floor access override. He did it. He almost got her killed. She took photos, backed up the log, and sent it all to her secure folder. She was no longer watching. Now, she was hunting. Back in her small room, Amira opened a video call. A tall woman with gray dreadlocks and glowing eyes appeared on screen. Her voice was calm, but powerful. "Report," she said. Amira stood straight. Khan made a direct move. Attempted harm through faulty power lines. The woman frowned. "Do you need extraction?" "No," Amira replied. "Not yet." But he crossed the line. The woman nodded. "Continue your mission. If one more worker steps out of line, activate full protocol." "Yes, mother," Amira said. The screen went dark. The next day, Mr. Kern arrived early and found a folder on his desk. Inside was a photo of the exploded tunnel. Next to it, a printed system log. His face turned white. He looked up and saw Amira across the hall, calmly wiping a window. She didn't look angry. She didn't look scared. She looked like she was waiting. Mr. Kern slammed the folder shut, his hands shaking. "She knows," he whispered to himself. But what he didn't know was this. Amira wasn't alone anymore. The company had begun watching too. And next time Mr. Kern made a mistake, it wouldn't be a warning. 2 days passed. Everyone at Galaxon Corp thought things were back to normal. Amira kept mopping the floors. She smiled at people in the hall. She asked polite questions. And quietly, she listened to every answer. But late that night, she slipped into a hidden elevator behind the storage bay. The lift didn't go down or up. It went deep, far below Galaxon's main floors, into the core room. Only 2 people had access. One was the CEO. The other was her daughter. The door opened into a small silver chamber. A tall woman stood there, arms folded. She wore a long dark coat, and her eyes glowed with a scanner chip. It was CEO Zara Vaughn, Amira's mother. She didn't smile. "Tell me everything," Zara said. Amira handed her the tablet. "The staff is corrupt. At least 6 members have broken security rules. Mr. Kern is the worst." Zara flipped through the files. Voice logs, video clips, power override records. "You almost got electrocuted." Amira nodded. "I was ready." Zara looked at her daughter. "You shouldn't have to be." Amira's voice was calm. "I need 1 more day. I want to see what they do when they feel safe. Zara raised an eyebrow. You're sure? Amira nodded. Yes. But I need permission to activate protocol red light. Zara thought for a moment, then nodded slowly. Granted. 1 more day. But after that, no mercy. Amira smiled. Understood. The next morning, a strange visitor arrived at Galaxon Corp. He wore a gray cloak, black gloves, and mirrored glasses. He walked into the front lobby and handed the receptionist a silver card. The receptionist scanned it and froze. Ilu, welcome, Inspector. The man nodded. Don't tell anyone I'm here. Then he walked toward the elevators and vanished into the upper floors. That afternoon, Mr. Kern called a private meeting in conference room 12. Kyle, Rinna, and 2 other janitors were there. They looked nervous. Something's not right, Kern said. That girl, Amira, she's not just a cleaner. She knows things. And she's watching us. Kyle whispered, she left that photo on your desk. You think she's like a spy or something? Kern leaned in. I think she's worse. I think she's connected. So we have to act fast. Rinna asked, what do we do? Kern lowered his voice. We plant something in her locker. Something bad. Get her fired before she fires us. Kyle frowned. That's dangerous. Kern growled, she's already dangerous. Outside the meeting room, Amira stood holding a tray of coffee. She wasn't moving. She wasn't blinking. Her small cleaning bot hovered behind her and had recorded everything. She turned and walked away, smiling. That night, Amira sat in her room. Her tablet blinked with a message. Protocol red light ready. Just say the word. She stared at the screen, then clicked ARM. The company's internal audit system came to life. All cameras, all logs, all voice recordings, activated, and something else. Amira pulled out her badge. For the first time in weeks, she put it on. It didn't say janitor. It said it was a bright morning at Galaxon Corp. The workers rushed in. Machines hummed. Cafeteria screens showed company news. To most, it was just another day. But for Amira Vaughn, this was the day they'd never forget. She didn't wear her old janitor uniform. She wore a sharp black jacket with a silver Galaxon badge. And for the first time, she walked boldly into the main lobby. No mop, no silence, just purpose. Kyle was standing near the supply room when he saw her. He blinked. Wait, is that? He dropped the box he was holding. Rinna saw her next. She's in a suit? Then Mr. Kern came out of the elevator. He froze mid-step. His voice cracked. What is she wearing? Amira walked straight past him without a glance. Then, over the intercom, a voice spoke. All department heads, report to conference room 1. Now. Mr. Kern turned pale. I wasn't told about any meeting. But the voice came again. Conference room 1. Top floor. No delays. The top floor was silent. Clean. Cold. Inside conference room 1. 6 executives sat at the table, confused. Then the door opened. CEO Zara Vaughn stepped in first. Everyone stood. Ma'am, what is? Behind her, Amira entered. Not as a cleaner, not as a staff member, but as vice chair of operations. Zara spoke clearly. This is my daughter. You've all met her before, though she was wearing different clothes. Gasps filled the room. Mr. Kern stood frozen at the doorway, too stunned to walk in. Amira looked around the table. Then she placed a silver tablet down and pressed play. Video and audio clips filled the screen. Mr. Kern saying he would fire her. Kyle laughing about locking her in a dark room. Rinna joking about getting rid of the janitor girl. The full plan to plant fake evidence. Everyone watched in silence. Then the video showed Mr. Kern's override on the tunnel's power system. An attempt to cause serious harm. Zara turned to him. This is your last chance to speak. Mr. Kern stuttered. I didn't mean, this is out of context. Amira stepped forward, calm. Actually, it's the full context. Security bots entered the room. Zara gave a short nod. Mr. Kern was escorted out, speechless, sweating, and defeated. Amira turned to the others. I came here to see who was loyal to Galaxon's mission and who just wore the badge. Silence. Then slowly, the legal advisor stood and said, Miss Vaughn, we're with you. Amira smiled, but her eyes were sharp. There's still one more step, she said. Tomorrow, I speak to the entire company. Outside, whispers ran through the halls. Did you hear? The janitor is the CEO's daughter. No, she's an exec. Mr. Kern got fired. What's going to happen now? Amira walked through the corridors, head high, badge shining. For the first time, no one laughed. No one whispered behind her back. They just stared, because the girl they thought was nothing had just taken over everything. The next morning, every screen in Galaxon Corp turned black. Then, one by one, they lit up again, showing the company's headquarters live. Hundreds of workers paused their tasks. Meetings stopped. Machines paused. Even the robot arms froze in midair. A voice spoke over the speakers. Attention all staff. Please watch carefully. This message will change everything. The screen showed a large stage at the top floor. Standing in the center was Amira Vaughn, no longer in janitor clothes. She wore the official silver sash of a Galaxon vice chair. Behind her stood Zara Vaughn, the CEO, proud and silent. Amira looked into the camera. Her voice was calm, clear, strong. 2 weeks ago, I joined this company as a janitor. I worked your night shifts, cleaned your messes, and listened. She paused. I heard your laughter, your gossip, your lies. Faces across the company turned red with shame. Some covered their mouths. Some looked down. Some began to cry. Amira continued. I did not come here for revenge. I came here for truth. I came to see who you are when you think no one's watching. She held up her badge. This is real. I didn't earn it with my name. I earned it with work, with watching, with listening. Then her tone shifted. But some of you showed cruelty. You judged me by my skin, my job title, my silence. In a nearby department, Rina whispered, she means me. Kyle said nothing. His hands were shaking. Amira went on. This company was built on truth, honor, and unity. Not power, not status, not pride. She turned slightly, her eyes sharper now. Those who tried to harm others are no longer with us. Then she smiled. But those who showed kindness, who helped when no one was looking, your names are on my desk right now. Expect a call. Promotions are coming. Applause burst out in several rooms. People who had been quiet now stood, clapped, even cried, because they finally saw the real heart of Galaxon Corp. Not machines, not power. People. Amira gave her final words. Never forget, the person you look down on today might be the one who owns the building tomorrow. She stepped back. The camera faded. The logo of Galaxon Corp returned. Under it, a new message glowed. Respect is the future, and the future is now. That day, Amira became more than a vice chair. She became a symbol, a story shared across the galaxy. The girl they laughed at became the leader they followed.